Hi, it's Martin Atkins here at the Museum of Post-Punk and Industrial Music here in Chicago. You know, there is just so much stuff here and keeps growing every day. This may or may not be relevant or meaningful to you. Mission of Burma's quarter-inch tape machine just came in here, courtesy of Bob Weston, who ran sound for them and fed loops into their live shows. The shellac rehearsal bass rig just arrived along with a signed poster from everybody in shellac. Stuff just won't stop. I just acquired one of Cynthia Plasticaster's Cass, Hello Mary Biker, and just found a bunch of her postcards as well, and some news articles that Gail Worley had sent to me. So the archives just keep growing. And it's great when people visit us. We love that, and we try and show you as much stuff as we can. But it's time for us to find other ways of sharing all of this with everybody. So we're launching a Patreon. I think it's going to launch on my birthday, August the 3rd. I'm 66 years old. Fucking hell, Martin. Yeah, still here. And most Patreons have escalating levels. The more money you give, the more access you get. That doesn't sit right with me. You know, some fans of music I've made, like Pigface 1990, or Pill from 1979, or Killing Joke, or Brian Brain, or any of these things. Some people are doing great. Some people aren't. And it just doesn't sit right with me that the more money you give us, the more access you will get. I think maybe somebody with no money might appreciate the most access. So I'm not really sure how we're going to work it yet, so bear with us. But I think for like $2 a month, you get access to everything all the time. You can give us more money. You can. Thank you. I'll make you a cappuccino if you get here. But it's not necessary for you to get access to everything. And we're going to launch with, I think, 10 or 12 weeks worth of content. Dylan printed me out a list of some of the early posts. There's an interview I did with my old bandmate in Pill, Keith Levine, who passed a couple of years ago now. That's kind of wild and important to me. We have our boot collection over in the corner there. We'll look at that. We'll look at what we call Down the Rabbit Hole. It's our way of describing what's going on in the studio. We keep getting bootleg, unreleased material from Joy Division, New Order, D. Warsaw cassettes just came in last week. And then, of course, all of my archives from Skinny Puppy, PIL, Brian Brain, The Damage Manual, Pigface, everything. We'll give you a little, there's some things I can't play. Some things I'm an IP, intellectual property owner, I can play you some of that stuff. We've got a great week looking at Cynthia Plasticaster. We have her reading her journal entry from casting Jimi Hendrix, who was 0004. We're going to be looking at getting ready for the Extremities show. It's been 35 years almost since that Killing Joke album that I worked on came out. 33 years since any of it was really performed live. We're going to have a show in November. We'll look at that. We'll take different weeks to look at different photographers, and the first photographer we'll look at will be Jody Sargent, who honestly showed me my museum in a really different light. There's such an amazing photograph of the Easy Nuns. I'll interview Don Moffat, my friend from Toronto, who saw the shroud from the Ain't It Dead Yet, Skinny Puppy. I think it was their first video where Olga performs behind a shroud, stabbing himself, releasing stage blood to splatter this shroud where he's performing in silhouette. Don Moffat will talk about that. We'll show you some of that stuff. We'll also talk about my fuck shirt that I gave to Mike Scasher from Rigor Mortis and Ministry in 1989 for ministry rehearsals. And then he wore that shirt on the Burning Inside video. We'll talk a little bit about what I'm calling a blueprint for chaos. It's kind of a summary of so much of the knowledge that's in here, whether it's Club Neo, La Mer Vipère, O'Banions, Metro, Club COD, Oz, Medusas. Those are just some of the clubs. And then you have H-Gun Video, Chicago Tracks Recording, 99th Floor, The Alley, Wax Trax Records, of course, Invisible Records, my label since 1988, Touch and Go, Project Records, which was just down the street from Invisible. We'll talk about all of these different elements that came together to make Chicago the epicenter of industrial music. And then we'll look at Paulie Gladden brought in his Thrill Kill Cult Connection newsletter archive, and we just carefully scanned all of these. So and we interviewed Paulie too. He came down here, we did an interview, but 1 week you'll be able to have a look at all of these. The idea is, if you're a fan of this music like we all are, you could just lose yourself in this, you know. And I hope in the first week of launch, maybe I should kind of go through and time this out. I'm hoping there's like 7 hours of shit. So we'll issue like a sick note for everybody, so it's like a valid excuse. What happened to you today? Sorry, boss. Here's a note from Martin Atkins. I lost myself in the Museum of Post-Punk and Industrial Music Archives. And your boss will be kind of, yeah, wow, that's really cool. Sick note accepted. I think that's stretching it. But so anyway, we're going to be launching a Patreon. There'll be a link somewhere. I don't fucking know where it's going to be, but I just wanted to let you know that this is happening. We're really excited by it. There are weeks and weeks and weeks piled up. As I said, we're going to launch with 10 weeks worth of content, and I think you'll be surprised and amazed, delighted and lost. So, yeah, coming up in future weeks will be the story of the Nine Inch Nails. These are the earliest Nine Inch Nails demos that we know of. The Killing Joke, Revolting Cocks, Thrill Kill Cult, Smashing Pumpkins, Wax Trax, Invisible Records, Vic, Metro, Party Bus from Hell, New Year's Eve 1990. That's a story. We'll look at some packaging as well, from the Metal Box to Damage Manual's limited edition and Duritty Columns sandpaper sleeve. There's so much stuff here in so many categories. We should have Fashion Week as well. If we don't have that, Dylan, let's do that. Fashion Week here at the museum. Call that fashion, all you do is wear black, Martin. Fuck off. There's flies on my pants. So yeah, there you go. Patreon launching soon. And thanks again for all of your help and support for this insane, wonderful, glorious, fueling undertaking called the Museum of Post-Punk and Industrial Music here in Chicago. It's very much appreciated.